beautiful teachers, welcome to our Vibrant Music Teaching birthday celebration. This is the final day, this is the real day, this is the birthday. I can't believe it. It has come by so fast, but I'm thrilled to be here with you guys and to be celebrating Vibrant Music Teaching's 3rd birthday today. This is the last day of our Success Story Spectacular series that we've been doing all week long. And if you haven't joined us yet, then welcome. Here's how it works. We're going to share some awesome successes from teachers who are doing real things in their studios in this difficult time and how they're achieving that success. We're also going to be playing some games. We're also going to be having some cake since it's the birthday. So let's get started. Okay, hello to everyone who's joining live. Oh my gosh, there's so many great people in the room, I can't even believe it. And so many great cakes. We've had some carrot cake shared in the chat. We've had chocolate with marshmallow icing. The amazing looking brownies from Elizabeth. I saw them earlier on Instagram. Oh my gosh, yummy, yummy, yummy. So, I have my own cake here. It's a bit blurry because it's in the background right now, but this is my cake over here. It's got 3 candles on it at the ready to celebrate Vibrant Music Teaching's 3rd birthday. I cannot believe it's been 3 years. Honestly. Thank you guys for indulging me in my wacky birthday celebrations, by the way. I know I'm a bit bizarre. I'm celebrating the birthday of a membership site. But there's a reason that this gets me all excited and that I like doing these parties every year for you guys. It's because it's because of community. It's because of the theme of today, which is community. This site, when I first put it together, it was just about sharing games. That's really what it was. It was about, okay, I'm going to bring together people so that they can have organized games in the way that I think they should be organized. I'm going to see if it's useful for other teachers too. So I released it, and I'd been running the Colourful Keys blog for a little while. I knew something about what teachers needed and what resonated with other teachers, but I had no idea what this would grow to become. And that's because it's a life of its own. That's what a community does. It takes on its own energy, and that's what carries it forward. And that is what has happened inside Vibrant Music Teaching. Everything that I've created, everything that I've added to the site, and it's so much more than just a games library now, but everything that I've added has been because of the community behind it, because of the driving force of the site. It's not just a website. It's a group of amazing teachers from all over the world who inspire me every single day. I won't get too gushy yet, but that's why the theme of today is community. And I'm so excited to share our clips with you, to play some games with you, and to light the candles on VMT's cake. Oh my gosh, it's just awesome to be here with you all. So Janelle is in the room, Elizabeth, and Dana's here again. Well done for staying up to talk to us again, Dana. Carrie, Christy, Hannah, Eloise, Nan, awesome, Caroline, Leona. Oh my gosh, so many great people here. Claire, who I think, Claire, was it you that said it was also your anniversary? No, also your birthday. Happy birthday. Megan having pancakes instead of regular cake. That's okay. It can be your own style of cake. I love that Eloise said her cake was a pizza today. That's great. That's awesome. It's a pizza pie, right? That's kind of like a cake. It's basically the same ingredients. With cheese as well. And cheese is the best thing in the world. Carrie is here as well. Oh my gosh. And Angela. Hi, everyone. I'm so thrilled you could make it. And Barbara and Anya. Oh my gosh, so many people coming in. So welcome to this party. It's awesome. Absolutely fabulous to have you all here. Now, we're going to get started with our videos. These videos, if you haven't made it along before, these videos are from an interview series that I did with 12 different members just to get a sense of, okay, What has happened to your studio since March? Where was it before? Where is it now? What have you learned along the way, and what are some successes that you can share with us so that we can all get inspired, right? Not to say, "Oh my gosh, I have to do everything all these teachers are doing," but to say, "Yeah, there are little nuggets of gold here. There are little bits and pieces that have gone well for other teachers during this time, and that can inspire me to see the good in my own situation almost." Okay, so these clips today are all about community. And I want to start with this one from Helen, which actually doesn't sound like it's about community, but it has this wonderful community spirit behind it. So this is actually about getting out of your own way as a teacher. Let's hear from Helen. Let's not hear from Helen. It's not showing up. That's weird. Let's just see if we can fix that. How fun on the last day.
My kids had a junior school teacher who I loved. She was just so herself and present in the classroom. She didn't care how she looked. She didn't care how she sounded. She just was just herself. And I really think about her a lot. And I tell my students, you can't look as dorky as I do when you're dancing, or you can't sing as badly as I do. So let's just try. Um,
Right. So that's what Helen said. And I know it almost doesn't sound like it's about community, but what Claire said here in the chat is exactly my point. So community is where you can ask anything, even if you think it's stupid, and then realize everyone is supportive and even perhaps has the same difficulties as you, which can then be solved together. That comment from Claire and that clip from Helen both have the same spirit behind it, which is get out of your own head, get out of your own way, and give yourself to this bigger experience, the community around you, whether that's your community of students in a classroom or in a studio, or it's a community of teachers. If you embrace this sense of community, it gets you, like I say, out of your own way. So that you're not thinking, "Oh, but can I really do it this way?" Or, "Oh, but can I do that? Will I look stupid?" Well, yeah, you might look stupid. Like when I do my silly dancing in the countdown, yeah, I might look stupid. Am I embarrassed? No, not really. Because if it makes someone from the community on the other side giggle, then I feel like I've done my job for the day. I feel like I've done a good thing. Right? So, that idea of embarrassment and putting it aside for the experience that you're having with your students or with other teachers, I feel is so valuable to start us off on this community discussion. Our next clip is from Janelle, and this is one of the most wondrous things that has happened in our community lately.
When the VMT community came up and people started doing the online games, like the online adaptations, that was amazing. That was I'm not trying to make a pun, but that was a game changer. That was great.
Puns are very much encouraged in VMT, you know that.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Puns are very much encouraged. Add your favorite pun in the chat as part of our party fun. But the message from Janelle is about those games that members started uploading. So if you're not familiar with what happened, basically a pandemic happened. Did you know that? Okay. But during that time, obviously a lot of teachers were teaching online, and we were trying to figure out how to make games work, and there were loads of different ideas, and they were all fantastic, and teachers showing their setup of how they had got an overhead camera to use physical games, and how they'd use a whiteboard, and how they'd use different things. And then some members, it started with one member in particular, and then it spread fantastically throughout our members, started converting the games for PowerPoint. And this really inspired a movement. It honestly did. It was entirely community driven. This is what I mean about it having a life of its own. I didn't come up with that idea. I'm happy to take it and run with it and take it even further and bring it to more people. But it started with crazy innovative teachers who had this brainwave to say, you know what, I think I could animate these cards in Google Slides and it would work. Let's try it. They try it, they share it with others, we collaborate, we make it better and better, and more members have been sharing those games. And as you may have seen, that's also how we've converted a lot of our games, all our most recent games in VMT, and older games now as well, some, so that we have a good chunk of games in the library for you to choose from that work in Google Slides. And it's just a great option. But it's all from the community. If those teachers had not been together, if that one teacher, if he was just sitting in his studio on his own, he would just try it and maybe it'd work and that's the end. Dead end. But because he was part of VMT, because he was part of our community, he shared it in the Facebook group. And other members took it and ran with it. And so many more games got converted by members all over the world. And we were able to share that community group effort. Janelle, my students were so thrilled to see that we could play their same favorite games online that we played at the studio pre-pandemic. Yes, and it's almost comforting as well, especially if it's the same games that they've played already, that they're old favorites. Some things are carrying forward to this strange environment that they're in, and I think that was so valuable for them as well. Caroline, getting out of my way. I had to do this to go online and not think about what I'd be looking like. Yes. As a student's families might be watching. Yeah, and sometimes they're behind the camera as well, so you sort of are aware of them behind the student's laptop or iPad. You know, it feels strange. I know what you mean, Caroline. I turned it around and figured it was great accountability. It absolutely is. And Dana said, I love the converted games. Thanks to all the teachers who've been creating and sharing them. Yes, so awesome. And Christy said they were a lifesaver. Yes. I mean, I'm so thankful. I'll be forever thankful to that first member, Kurt, who first shared the first one, and to all the members who took it and ran with it. There were a few in particular in the beginning who started that movement because they did several all in one go, and that's what started the ball rolling, right? Awesome, and they're still sharing more now. It happens every day in the community. It's amazing. Okay, now we're going over to Kate, and every time we visit Kate, she just feels like a hug. Is Kate here? She just feels like coming to a fire on a winter day or something. It's just like you can feel her energy coming through the camera, which is just like the most warm studio in the world. So this quote from Kate is possibly my favorite of all of the clips that I've shared of her.
I think one of my main philosophies is that music is the most wonderful, normal, ordinary, extraordinary part of life, and you just share it, and it's on your terms. You do the thing that brings you joy. And also, I am a great proponent of listening, and that we listen and love each other. That's so important, like to yell and scream for each other, and everybody to feel heard and loved up.
Everybody to feel heard and loved up. And I love how she said, music is the most normal, everyday, wonderful. I mean, oh my gosh. If you go back and watch this on the replay, will you just watch that a few times? Because I just think that from Kate, especially if you're having a hard time on any particular day, just watch Kate saying that. I think it will inspire you. Honestly, it's inspired me. She's just amazing. The spirit behind that. I love it. Yes, Kelly. Absolutely. Okay. Our next visit is over to Angela, who's not too far from me, and I think she's live here. So Angela is sharing just a little bit about what the community meant to her and her excitement for teaching through the community spirit.
It just, it's made me more organized, a bit more confident, and very excited about, returning to teaching, both online and in person, because I think we've got even more skills now. We can offer it in different platforms, I suppose, or a different way. So yeah. Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Sounds like you learned a lot and you're really
I
invigorated by it. That's
I learned a
absolutely
lot, but
awesome.
it was because of the support of others and the resources, you know. It would have been much harder to figure it all out on my own. I
Yes.
like that you don't feel like you're alone. You know, I feel like there's others working with you and together, and you know, we're all.
You don't feel like you're alone. I love that Angela feels that way, and I hope you all feel that way too, because you're not alone. You're part of this community, and we are delighted to have you. And you don't need to feel like, oh, I'm not sure, or oh, I don't know whether I can do this. You do. You can. You've got it. You can do it. We all learn from each other. So, so true, isn't it, Barbara? Yeah, and not having to reinvent the wheel. That's exactly it. It's about sharing our wealth of knowledge with each other. There's no more closed door studios, or, I mean, there are, but they're missing out. Honestly, those teachers are missing so much, and we're moving away from that idea of, oh, we have our secrets that we keep behind here, and I have my special teaching techniques. No, let's all share it because it makes our whole community stronger. Kelly, I have to work hard not to let it do that to me. That's one of my goals today. We'll see what happens. Is not to tear up in the middle of this. But it is powerful, and I can see why it would make you feel that way. It is just astounding what people can do when they come together, and I think our little teaching bubble, our community of teachers, is a fantastic example of that, of what people can do when they come together with that openness and that sense of community. Okay, so we ready to go back to the party spirit? I feel like this was like the speeches section at the wedding, and now we need to all clink glasses and have some laughs again because it's getting a bit too intense. Okay, here we go. We are going to do our final game next. Are you ready? Okay. Our final game, I don't need to do the spinner because there's only one left. It's the tiny, tiny, tiny little one. This guy. Isn't it adorable? Okay, have a guess what you think it is. This is something from the VMT library. It is an oldie, but a goodie from the VMT library. It was there at launch. So, I didn't even plan this like at all, and the games have been chosen randomly, but yeah, this was there when I launched 3 years ago today. How epically, not karmic, but like poetic. Isn't that beautiful? Hey Laurie, welcome! Yes, Megan, as a self-employed person, I agree. So many of us are self-employed, and having that connection to other people who are doing the same thing is just amazing. Dana, you were one of our founder members. It's so great you could be here today. So these are tiny little cards, and they were there at launch. This is a game. They were there at launch, weren't they? I might be mixing up my games. But it's called Silent Lingo. Camera, hello. Anyway, Silent Lingo. So I'm going to pick out a random card. Here's the rules. This is basically charades, but music. So I'm going to pick out a card. It's going to be a musical term. I believe it's mostly dynamics and tempo marks. And I'm going to... Steppity Skippity is way newer than that, man. I'm going to attempt to act it out for you guys with no words. I don't know how this is going to go without you being in the room. Oh, okay. Let's see. You ready? I'm not picking and choosing, by the way. This is random. I have a card in my hand. I'm not showing you what's on it, but I'm leaving it here, so I'll be held accountable. You guys have to... it's going to be silent for a while I act this out for you guys. So you're going to have to guess as fast as you can what term it is. It's an Italian musical term. Okay? Here's it. What it is. I is. I. 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 I Yes! Dana, you did it! Thank you. Jocoso. There's the proof. Jocoso. That's what I got. It definitely could have been all of those things you're saying. Not so much staccato. I don't think I conveyed staccato. Let's be fair. But it definitely could have been espressivo. I would have done a few more different emotions for that though. I thought it was funny that there was that because someone was just commenting at my smile yesterday. So I thought it was funny that I had to smile silently for several minutes. Oh, did Eloise get it just before you, Dana? I didn't see that. Oh, sorry, Eloise. I missed yours. I could have stopped slightly earlier there with my ridiculous acting. Okay, yes, it was Jocoso. That's a really fun one to play. I love it at group lessons, but actually, didn't plan this part, but it is great in online lessons because anyone can do that to the camera, right? So online groups or even one-on-one, great one to do. You would just need to private message the one student somehow, or just have them pick at random from their book and don't even use the cards. Just use the idea. It will work grand. Okay, so that was our last game. Lots of last things coming up. By the way, what we also have is our last chance to win prizes. So if you haven't already shared a comment about community and community spirit and stories about community, whether that's in your studio or with other teachers or anything, then do it now. I'm going to be picking a prize winner from our Success Story Spectaculars, and then I'm going to be picking a prize winner from the chat. So you still have a couple of minutes to add in your comments for your chance to win. Let me show you what you might win. Let's do that. Okay, this is our new swag store. You can win any one of these items. It's entirely your choice. I feel like I did that like a 50s game show host. Any one of these items. Okay, so we've got 2 different t-shirts. We've got 3 different fabulous mugs. And it is entirely your choice which one you choose. And also, of course, your size of t-shirt if you choose a t-shirt. So we're going to be picking our first winner from our Success Story Spectacular sharers. And I wanted to say something about that, which is that, so obviously if you share a Success Story Spectacular right now, you can't win a prize because I've already added people. So it's not dynamically populated. However, I want to encourage you to continue this little tradition over the weekend, even if you've already shared one, because it's wonderful for me to read them. It's wonderful for other community members to read them, but it's the most wonderful for you to read it yourself, to look at it and go, oh my gosh, I did that. That happened this year. Yes, this other thing happened, and that other thing happened in 2020, but that happened. And it lets you just look at that little, lovely little diamond, sapphire, whatever your gemstone of choice, and say, yeah, that was a great thing that happened. So continue sharing them over the weekend. It's been so wonderful to read them, and I hope you've been enjoying it too. Now, let's draw our winner from our Success Story Spectaculars, and then we'll draw another winner from the chat. You ready? Here we go. So many successes. Look at all of those. Oh, this is from Amber. She said, I did so much research on how to do a virtual recital and it paid off. It was a great success. I had each student fill out this compliment card, which is awesome. So congratulations to Amber. I don't think she's live, but we'll get in touch with her later to make sure she knows that she was a winner and get her to choose her prize. And then we're going to pick another winner from the chat. Are we ready? Here we go. What did I put on yesterday? Let's have this one. a prize yet, right? Megan was one of my interviewees, which is awesome. So, yeah. Megan, congratulations. You can email me, just let me know what you would like. I know you have my email because obviously we did the interview together. So just email me and let me know what you would like. And I'll be thrilled to send it over to you. Okay? Congratulations, Megan. And congratulations to Amber as well. And if you didn't win and you want some swag, I think you'll agree they're pretty reasonably priced. So you can go to vmt.rocks to get your own t-shirt, your mug, or whatever you like. Okay? Awesome! Congratulations to all of our winners all week long. Now I think we're ready for some cake. Do you? No, wait. We're gonna do one more thing before the cake. Yeah. I have a plan. Okay. I wanted to share a few of the successes, those success story spectaculars that people have been sharing, because some of them are honestly, they have so many messages of hope in them, and they have so many lessons in them as well. So there's a few I wanted to share with you. Honestly, so many fabulous ones have been shared, so look up the hashtag. It's great to read through them. And if you thought you were getting teary with me just talking to myself, talking to you guys at the start of today, then this will honestly probably make you tear up. But the first one I have to share is actually from Megan, so here we go. Oh no, it's not. Here we go. I was looking at the wrong part of my screen. Here we go. It was Sue that was up first. Here we go. So Sue said, I finally found the tools that allow me to pursue my passion. I just love teaching. Using the information and resources from VMT, I have moved from just turning pages of a method book to actually planning my lessons and making them not only effective but fun. It all clicked when a student left their lesson and told a parent that they had learnt so much and it was really fun. You can't get better than that. I wanted to share that from Sue first because it has such a strong message for everyone who has been looking at this and going, oh, I thought I was doing okay. I open up a method book, we do things, I'm nice to the kids, I'm better than my teacher, surely. And sure, yeah, maybe you are. There's always something you could do better. So I wanted to share that from Sue because I hope it'll inspire you that she used to just turn the pages in the method book. She used to find this overwhelming, and she found resources that made sense for her. Yes, Kelly, sounds remarkably familiar. To me too. That was me. Absolutely, that's all I did. And, I didn't even do a very good job of that originally. So, anyone can improve their teaching, whatever stage they're at, no matter how long they have been turning the pages in a method book, or completely winging it, or whatever you think your weakness is. You can get better, you have the support to do it, and you have the community backing to be able to do that as well. Our next one is from Shui Ying Ma. It's probably Shui. And here's what she said. A simple yet heartfelt card from one of my students. Simple, yes, but meaningful. That's just one happy student that comes to you and says, I made this for you. And we all know how much that means, right? It's so wonderful when we get those appreciations from students, when we get those cards. The next one is from Laura. She said, I've been teaching piano 5 years now, fitting it around our family life as best I could. I'll confess, with 5 kids at home ranging in age from 8 years old to 10 months, it has had its challenges at times. Until recently, I've been guilty of viewing it more as a hobby, despite putting in a lot of time and effort to come up with games, off-the-bench activities, and to generally make lessons as fun as possible for my students. During lockdown, I discovered VMT. It has changed my approach entirely. After a frank discussion with my husband, I have completely rebranded my business and stepped in with both feet. Revamped my social media pages, I'm building a website, and I've just met my target this year for doubling my individual lessons from 10 to 20. Isn't that amazing? I've also reached out to local schools and preschools and have received largely positive feedback about working with them once COVID restrictions allow. None of this would have been possible without VMT. The games library and planning aids have massively freed up my time, which is what has allowed me to take on so much extra work without compromising on family time. That's a spectacular success story for sure, right? It's amazing. And it's because she started taking her business seriously. And yes, she had that community and that support behind her too, to be able to say, no, this is a real thing. This is not just a hobby. It can be more than that. I can double my student base in a pandemic if I want to. And I can get there. And if that kind of goal, doubling your student base, seems completely overwhelming or just totally out of reach for you right now based on the community that you're living in, that's okay too. I want to put that out there. It doesn't mean that you have to double your student numbers. It doesn't mean that you have to achieve these amazing goals or even set them. It doesn't have to be some big sky idea. It can be something simple too. Here's what Casey said. I would never even have considered online teaching if it weren't for VMT, and I would have spent the past 6 months panicking. Instead, I've kept my income steady, started new students, and kept a fun and well-rounded music education in place for my students. I finally have the courage to plan a permanent move away from travel teaching, sound familiar, Laurie? And to stick to a teaching schedule that is healthier and happier for me and my family. I think about my work-life balance and quality of teaching 2 years ago, before I found the VMT resources, and I don't think I would have stuck with teaching long term if it had continued like that for years on end. Now I look forward to lessons a lot more. I know where to find resources and encouragement when I feel stuck, and I'm much more organized and fun teacher for my students. So even if we just took one of those from Casey, I think that would be a huge win, which is I look forward to my lessons. So if all of that sounds too much to you right now, if it inspires you and fires you up, go for it. If you want everything Casey has, go for that. But if you're thinking, I can't, that's too much, I can't do it all, just look at what Casey said about enjoying her lessons. That could be your goal. Or keeping the same number of students. That could be your goal. Or it could be your success that you pick out from the past year. That you have enjoyed your lessons, or that you have kept your student numbers up, or that you've only lost 20% even though the employment rates in your area have fallen to the floor. Right? Yes, Susan. Absolutely. Community is so important because we're not teaching in a vacuum, but we used to be. Does anyone else remember doing that? I'm not even that old and I remember it. I used to be teaching completely in the dark, just based on how I was taught, and that was basically it, and then my own wits. And now we have this amazing global community behind us. Right, my next one is from the wonderful Elizabeth. I know this is long, but it's wonderful. She said, successes over this pandemic, pentascale and chord challenges, students flying through the rhythm vocab cards. One student even used his dad's drumsticks. I think I know where he's headed once he's old enough for band and orchestra. It's nice to be using my full music ed degree and have a chance to work on the rudiments again as I team teach with the dad in that setup. Compositions and MuseScore, starting 2 new piano students online, developing my Facebook and Instagram studio pages, taking advantage of the Blitzbook discount, and having a blast with rote pieces and learning quick score study. While not for the studio per se, learning video editing for nursing home services and learning to blend audio and video tracks. Many thanks to students who are providing MP3 recordings of hymn arrangements. There have been other success stories since March, but this is what is standing out right now in the middle of this very crazy time as we figure out working with the hybrid school schedule, and I add in offerings to help parents who are choosing to homeschool. So there will be more successes as we go. Don't you love Elizabeth's attitude? I think she was alive. Don't you love that? Because it's not yet right now. Maybe she can't focus on anything new, right? Maybe nothing else new is fitting in. Because, yes, she's balancing this home setup and that school hybrid system, and that sounds horrible. I'm so glad our schools at least all do roughly the same thing. That sounds like such a headache, right? And you could focus on that. And you do have to focus on it to the point of getting through it. But you can also make a list like Elizabeth of all those things that have gone right and all that work you've put in and all the wonderful, amazing stuff you are doing for your students. Larry, stop it. You can actually make me tear up. Okay. I have just a couple more of these to share and then we're going to do cake. Does that sound good? Okay, here's Dana. She said, I've been following Nicola's advice for years through her blog and the VMT library, but boy did it all come in handy this year when COVID hit. Not only did I maintain a full studio online for spring and summer, I only had the regular number of students quit in the fall, and I was able to fill my schedule right back up again from the waiting list, even though I'm staying 100% online for the foreseeable future. I started a mini musicians class last fall, which was very successful, and I even moved it online in March, which was really inspiring to watch how Dana did that. Thanks to the challenge board, I've kept my students super engaged in sight reading scales, note naming, and practicing. I'm ecstatic about the new online from the outside curriculum, and I'm starting one brand new student and transitioning 2 of my mini musicians into regular lessons. I couldn't do any of this without the amazing resources in the VMT library. And I mean, Dana inspires me all the time. She's absolutely awesome and her attitude is wonderful. If you've ever interacted with her on Facebook, you will know what I mean. She is so helpful, she's so inspiring, and I just love having her as part of the community. I've got 2 more to share with you. The second last one is from Charity. She said, I implemented a registration form using Google Forms and non-negotiable registration fee this year. It only took me a week to collect everybody's lesson preferences and fees without any questions or pushback. Last year, I had at least a third of my students that I had to chase down for the fees, and I finally gave up. This made the whole process so much easier, and now I have money set aside to buy the materials I need for my students. And she said, thank you, Nicola, for showing us your registration process earlier in the summer. That was on a previous chat here on the YouTube channel, if you're curious. And for helping me to take the business side of my teaching to a more professional level. I wanted to share that from Charity because, number one, it was essentially a small move she made. It was a big leap of faith, and it took a lot of bravery from her to do that if she hadn't been working that way in the past. But the actual work was something quite small, and yet it achieved an amazing result for her. Imagine the stress that removed. Looking at last year versus this year, where she just had that simple registration process and it only took a week. And we all know how long registration or rescheduling or everything can take in the summer, right? It can be horrible. So she got it down to a week and no one complained. That's amazing. It's awesome. It's just wonderful. Last one is from Catherine. And Catherine, I was lucky enough to meet in London. Oh my gosh, that's quite a few years ago now. But I met her at the London Expo, the Music and Drama Expo over in London. And she is just a wonderfully vibrant spirit. So I want to finish with her quote. She said, wow, what a year this has been. In March, thanks to VMT and a bit of courage, I switched to online lessons over 2 days. Of my 41 students, 28 went online. I teach adults and children, and all my children went online except for 2, and the adults that didn't switch were older and technology shy or not ready. I have a few successes to report. Some students who were nervous about switching online persevered, and I succeeded teaching everyone without a single cancellation for 5 months online. One of my nervous older adult students came online after realizing Zoom family meetings could happen, so why not piano? I even got 2 new online students during lockdown. I moved house and didn't stop lessons throughout the move. Online lessons to the rescue. My biggest success is having students return to in-person lessons and realizing how it was so worth switching to online and keeping their lessons going, as scary as it was for me and them in the beginning, as every one of my students has made progress. And I wanted to finish on that one, not only because Catherine is wonderful, all the members who shared these success stories were wonderful, but because Catherine has, number one, an amazing attitude. Yeah, she went from 41 down to 28, but she's not dwelling on that, and she understands the reasons that her other students didn't continue the online lessons, and hopefully they'll start back up in person if she's able to do that. I also wanted to share Catherine's story because it shows how worth it was to invest all that time in the technology and everything, even though you could look at that and say, but I'm not even doing that in the long term. But it's still worth it because you have that backup option for makeup lessons for if another lockdown starts, but also just because it was worth it for her students because they still made progress during that time, and she can see that, and they wouldn't have had that otherwise. And thirdly, because Catherine is actually a pretty new teacher. When I met her, when she had just started in VMT, she found VMT right at the start of her teaching. When I met her, she had, I think, 2 students. She can correct me later if I'm wrong, but she literally just had a handful of students. And she joined, so I must have met her 2.5 years ago, So it was almost at the start of VMT. She joined in the January after we started up, and then I met her in February. So she's come all of this way, and then in such a short time built up this student base, and then a pandemic hits her and she's still going, look at how great everything is, and I'm going to move house and just keep teaching the whole time. And it's amazing. I love it. All amazing stories, so inspiring. I agree, Christy. Thank you to everyone who shared their success story. And just because I didn't show it here doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. I loved every single one. And I'll be looking over them again and again for weeks to come because they're just all so inspiring and awesome. Are we ready for cake? Okay, I'm gonna hope that the candles light. I bought like cheaper ones because I was in the equivalent of a dollar store. I happened to be there, and I don't like to go into stores unnecessarily, put people at risk at this stage. So these are the candles we have. Hopefully they're gonna light, and yeah, I'm gonna get the cake down. Are we ready? Does everyone else have cake? Now's the time to take it out. If you're gonna join me in some cake. Here's our cake. Da, 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 da. So it is uber dark chocolate, as I promised, with 85% dark chocolate chips. If you ask me why it's not higher percentages, because it's really hard to get higher percentages here. And the filling is peanut butter coconut butter. It's actually coconut butter, peanut butter. So it's going to be amazing. We're going to have it later. I might have already had some tastes of some offcuts because I was putting together the sandwich, So it's pretty incredible. And I hope yours is too. We're going to light it now. And then we're going to blow out the candles. I've chosen not to sing for you, but I do have some birthday music. You ready?
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday to VMT. Happy birthday to all of you in the community. Because you're what make this matter, honestly. It is absolutely and completely nothing without all of you. So An enormous happy birthday, happy community to you. Maybe we should call it happy community, make a new way of congratulating people. I don't know. But thank you all so much for being part of this, for being part of our birthday celebration week, for being part of our Vibrant Music Teaching community. If you're not part of Vibrant Music Teaching and you're watching this, you can sign up and become a member at vibrantmusicteaching.com. We would be thrilled to have you inside. And I think you might have seen throughout this week and throughout today's video what we're like. We're warm, we're inviting, we never judge people, we're always lovely to everyone. So this is where you can become a member, vibrantmusicteaching.com. You can see all the details there. And if you're ever not sure about whether it's right for you or how any details of the membership work, you can just write to us right there. There's a little chat bubble. We'll be happy to talk you through anything and see if it is the right fit for you. I want to leave you all with a little quote. It's one of my favourite quotes. It's from Charles Dickens. And many of you might know it. It says, "A very little key will open a very heavy door." I have this inscribed on the back of my iPad, actually. A very little key will open a very heavy door. So, if Vibrant Music Teaching is right for you, our tools might be the key. For that, for your students, for you. Our community might be that right key that will open up some new doors for you, for your business, and for your students. But whether VMT is a good fit for you right now or not, I am wishing you tremendous success.